Good morning and welcome to Iowa Central Field at Harlan and Hazel Rogers Sports Complex in Fort Dodge, Iowa. The home of the Girls State Softball Tournament presented by Iowa Farm Bureau. I'm John Schaefer and joined by Zarin Agastol. There we go. I'm sorry. This is day two. I'm battling through it already.
That's okay.
It's a bad day, Zarin. We're going to get through it, though. And in just a moment, we'll have the great matchup here between Albia and Estherville Lincoln Central. And Zarin, let's take a look at the road to state for both these teams. Obviously, I expect a pitcher's duel, much like what we saw in our game one yesterday.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And what I love about both of these two schools is they're just, small town kids that are here to make it big, and kids that have done it in multiple different sports. And I think it's going to be a good game. It's going to be fun.
I think two pitchers that are tops in 2A right now. Riley Yeager for ELC with a .72 ERA this season, absolutely been stellar. And then you look at the other side with Grace Pence, .77 ERA, 22-2 record for her. And boy, what do you do against two pitchers that just don't give up hits, don't give up runs?
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to a lot of small ball. We see that in these big games of the state tournament. It's going to come down to getting a runner on base and, having to do the sack bunt, maybe a sack fly to bring home a run. And honestly, it may come down to a mistake. I hate to say that, but, with how good these pitchers are, with how good these teams are, it may come down to one of these teams making one minor mistake that has the difference in the game.
And you see the name Hillary Rushy up there for ELC as well. State champions shot put to go with all the success that the basketball teams had, the softball teams had, but ELC still looking for their first state title in softball. Meanwhile, Albia has one to their name back in 2020.
Yeah, absolutely. No doubt about that. And for us, for Lincoln Central, they are, ELC is kind of what small towns strive to become, right? A bunch of girls that just love playing sports. They've been to the basketball state tournament. They do good in track. On the volleyball court, haven't made the state tournaments, but are in regional semifinals and regional finals and are a very formidable foe in the Lakes Conference. So just a bunch of girls that love to play sports, love to play with each other, and do it well at a high level.
Well, we're looking forward to this great 3A matchup here today between Albia and ELC. The Lady D's and Midgets will duke it out here in just a bit. When we come back after a break, we'll get you starting lineups for both squads.
Here in Greater Des Moines, we're the unexpected sports mecca that feels like home. We are the big ballers, the little kickers, the underdogs, and the bulldogs. We've got events wacky and wild, big and small, we host them all. That old sports cliche, nobody believes in us? Nah, when you come here, you'll believe it. Because in Des Moines, only the S's are silent. Let's
go! Good morning, oranges. Top of the muffin to ya. Potato salad! We still on for lunch? Great! Sliced bread. You're the best thing I've seen since, well, Oh, hello! Don't think I forgot about you. Friendly yet fairway. It's more than just a name.
Freedom Tire is proud to support the Iowa Girl through their sponsorship of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. With 6 locations around the metro, you're never far from getting you back or keeping you on the road. Our certified staff and state-of-the-art technology means you can take comfort knowing you've got the best work at the best prices. Give us a try at Freedom Tire, a proud supporter of the IGHSAU.
Hello, I'm Brent Johnson, President of the Iowa Farm Bureau.
And I'm Erin Gerlich, Executive Director of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. We'd like to thank you for joining us for the Girls State Softball Tournament.
The Iowa Farm Bureau knows that strong, vibrant schools are the cornerstone of our communities. That's why we're proud to be the title sponsor of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union and this amazing state tournament. This tournament not only showcases Iowa's elite teams, but the athletes competing here today are among our nation's best and brightest. And Iowa's farmers are among the nation's most productive. Our partnership with the Girls Union gives us the opportunity to recognize both, all while supporting and lifting up the Iowa girl.
With the help of the Iowa Farm Bureau, we celebrate students' efforts not only on the field, but in the classroom as well. The Iowa Farm Bureau is committed to your success and supports our organization and the Iowa Girl. Through millions of dollars they provide in awards, grants, and scholarships that recognize athletic and academic excellence.
As Iowans, we have a lot to be proud of. Whether you're a student competing here today or a fan tuning in, we all play an important role in making our state great. So, from the Iowa Farm Bureau
And the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union,
congratulations to your school on a terrific season, and good luck in the tournament games.
And we're back here at the Harlan Rogers Sports Complex, getting you ready for our starting lineups between Estherville, Lincoln Central, and Albia. Let's turn it over to our public address announcer.
Number 15, Ella Sober. Number 23, Reagan Nelson. The assistant coaches, Nate Dunleavy, Tatum Dunleavy, J.C. Anderson, and Andrea Nelson. Now, let's meet the starters for ELC. Leading off, the senior, the center fielder, number 1, Kara Schultz. Batting second, a senior, the pitcher, number 19, Riley Yeager. Batting third, a senior, playing right field, number 16, Haley Stokes. Batting fourth, a senior, the catcher, number 27, Hillary Rushy. Batting fifth, a sophomore, playing first base, number 4, Casey Brickwall. Batting sixth, a sophomore, the third baseman, number 22, Grace Ness. Batting seventh, the sophomore, the shortstop, number 11, Ariana Beekman. Batting eighth, the freshman, the DP, number 14, Kylie Schneider. Batting ninth, a sophomore, the left fielder, number 17, Addison Cody. And the flex player, a junior, playing second base, number 13, Suri Shadow. Head coach for ELC is Megan Anderson. Now let's meet the non-starters and assistant coaches for Albia. Number 4, Presley Fisher. Number 6, Maddie Montgomery. Number 10, Manaya Autry. Number 14, Ava C. Number 31, Ava Brown. Number 35, Morgan Beckwith. Number 43, Brooke Rubel. The assistant coaches are McKenna Ross and Chloe Bradley. Now let's meet the starters for the ladies. Leading off, a junior playing left field, number 12, Addie Hill. Batting second, a sophomore, the center fielder, number 20, Aaliyah Hood. Batting third, a junior, playing shortstop, number 77, Lillian DeMont. Batting fourth, a sophomore, the third baseman, number 24, Addie Pearson. Batting fifth, a senior, the first baseman, number 8, Avery Ofsted. Batting sixth, a junior, the pitcher, number 18, Grace Pence. Batting seventh, a junior, the right fielder, number 15, Ayla Green. Batting eighth, a sophomore, the second baseman, number 21, Zoe Zanoni. And batting ninth, a sophomore, center fielder, the catcher, number 1, Madeline Van Loon. Head coach for Albia is Larry Achenbach. Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the area in front of home plate for the introductions of our umpires for this morning's contest. At first base, Jason Slater. At third base, Deidre Moore. And calling the ball to strike, Tom Schruer. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for state tournament softball.
All righty, getting ready for first pitch here. Once again, John Schaefer with Zarin Egestal. And Zarin, you talk about coaching, kind of just looking at it, and you say Larry Achenbach, 14 seasons, 378 wins, 150 losses. Then on the other side, Kendra Wolf, she's been coaching 11 years, 3 years, though, at ELC and gotten these midgets back in a great spot to try and make a run here.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And also, both these two teams have alums that are coaching as an assistant coaches, which is really cool. McKenna Ross is an assistant coach for Albia. She was on that 2020 state title team, and also you've got a couple of the ELC girls, former players, Tatum Dunleavy, JC Anderson, that have both played for ELC in the past as well. So that's what's really cool is these girls, giving back to where they came from and teaching the next generation. And, some of these girls out here for Albia and ELC, eventually they're going to probably end up being coaches someday. And it's just cool to see them giving back.
Absolutely. And just a reminder, you're watching the 2025 Girls State Softball Championships presented by the Iowa Farm Bureau as the sole title sponsor of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. Iowa Farm Bureau believes in the Iowa girl, cultivating character, work ethic, and leadership on and off the field by investing in Iowa's youth. We're investing in Iowa's future. Well, thanks for joining us this morning on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy Company. Getting ready for what will be a toasty day up here in Fort Dodge compared to yesterday where it was pristine. We've already got time as a gate is open out in left field and a delayed start. But to start things off, it'll be Grace Pence in the circle. And again, we talked about it in kind of the prelude to this. Both pitchers, top 2 in Class 3A in strikeouts and opponent batting average, so it's going to be small ball central. As the first pitch is in for a strike to Kara Schiltz, the center fielder for ELC.
The other thing that we're going to notice that I really like about ELC, it doesn't matter what sport they're playing, is never flashy. I mean, everything is always just, as small ball in softball. When it comes to basketball, they would run plays and they would get back on defense. And, that's the one thing about ELC and everything they do. It seems like a common theme around the school is just nothing flashy.
Schultz swings and misses at strike 2 there. She's batting .349 this year. And the 1-2. That'll dip inside. But already Pence doing a nice job to kind of work the zone around, picking different locations and moving the eyes. That's lifted out of play. Keeping the at-bat alive is Schultz, the senior.
Schultz comes from a line of athletes as well. She had siblings that played sports here for ELC that have all been pretty good athletes as well, so has that to learn from.
Leave that down, and she's worked the count full. Good patience from Schultz here, who is behind in the count. And the payoff from Pence. That's grounded over to third. Beautifully handled. Throw across in time. What a grab by Pearson there at third. And the throw was on the money and a great stretch by Halstead.
Yeah, Pearson does a really good job, and that's a good position for her. She's long and lengthy, and so when you have those balls like that, she can just, kind of, it almost looked easy for her. She just kind of like, here, I'm just going to reach out, grab this, and throw it across the diamond. So really good play there at third base. They call it the hot corner for a reason.
That'll bring up pitcher Riley Yeager, the slap hitter. She dips that foul. And once again, Pearson having to almost took a swipe at it, but was like, nope, let's let that go foul and see what she can do.
Yeah, good job there, because if she gets a glove on that, it's a fair ball. And it looked like it was a little bit out of her reach that time. So if it hits off her glove, it's a fair ball and it's going down the line. With the speed, it's likely 2 bases there for ELC and Yeager.
The 0-1. Yeager fouls that back as well. And Yeager this season, an astounding batting average at .538. She's been stellar, 20 RBIs this year, 37 singles.
Yeah, just does what a slap hitter is supposed to do, just get on base and steal bases.
The 0-2, did she offer? No, she does not.
They're going to make
an appeal down. And Deidre Moore down at third base says she does not.
Albia fans thought she did.
Thought her wrists held it back and never felt like it really crossed the front of that plate.
What's good about a slap hitter, too, is they hit a lot of singles, but a lot of times their singles are actually doubles, as she's will swing out or strike out that time. Did run down to first thinking maybe the catcher dropped it, but it is a strikeout. But a lot of times the slap hitters, the singles are actually doubles because they get on first base and then they steal second. So all of a sudden, just like that, you have a slap hitter at second base.
Pence working quickly here. Now it's Haley Stokes, the right fielder for Estherville Lincoln Central. She takes strike one. And I think going back to the Jaeger strike three, it was just a great off-speed changeup there.
Yeah.
That'll work low and away as Pence brings some heat there.
Yeah, and that was perfect for Pence because that's, slap hitters are all about routine, right? They're all about timing. And so if you can throw the timing off a little bit on them, that's the best way to get around them.
1-1 count, 2 down. Pence delivers. That's a swing and a miss from Stokes for strike two. Haley Stokes this year, 362 BA, 25 hits. Sits with a 1-2 count. Pence gets her to fan at strike three. Throw down has to come in as that one took a little dip, but no harm, no foul, and goes 1-2-3 inning for ELC. It's Albia's turn, due up in the home half of one here on the Girls Union Network, powered by the Mid-American Energy Company.
At Mid-American Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
And we're back here on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy. You're watching the Iowa Girls State Softball Tournament presented by Iowa Farm Bureau. Getting ready for the home half of one. And already quick work for Grace Pence. It'll be Addie Hill to lead things off now for the Lady D's with Aaliyah Hood on deck and Lily DeMoss in the hole. Riley Jaeger in the circle for this midget squad. .72 ERA, only giving up 17 earned runs all season. Just stellar, 22-4 record, 265 strikeouts.
Yeah, she struck out 18 batters both in the regional semifinals and the regional finals. So
you can't get more perfect than that, yeah, without three more, right?
Yeah, last time I checked, that was pretty good.
And so, of course, over 900 strikeouts this season in her career. She hit that mark, and impressive stuff. So here's Addie Hill, the lefty, stepping in.
And I think there's a problem with maybe they're not using one, because Jaeger was looking at the dugout. Most teams using the pitch comm system, but Jaeger was looking directly at the dugout, and then for a second, Rushy got up and was also looking at the dugout. So looks like they're just getting straight signs from the dugout, and Jaeger's got a wristband on. That's how they're calling the plays rather than a pitch comm system, and more traditional with the catcher flashing the numbers down to the pitcher.
Seen a good mix of that pitch comm system. Some teams opt for it, others don't. Depends on probably the comfort of the catcher. We sit 1-1. Jaeger strides that ball, slicing just foul. Hill nearly had the leadoff single. Instead, it'll be strike two.
Yeah, and something, that's what we talk about here at the state tournament. You want to get comfortable like it's a normal regular game. And Rushy again was mouthing something both at Jaeger was mouthing something both at Rushy and at the dugout after that ball was being retrieved down the sideline. So there's definitely some uncomfortability right now with ELC between Jaeger, Rushy, and the dugout. So we'll see if that comes into play and affects anything here early on.
2-2 count. Addie Hill waits on as Jaeger steps and delivers. Changeup catches her, strike three. Beautiful pull of the string there by Jaeger.
That is just so tough. I mean, we're sitting right here behind it and watching that. It's like your eyes are watching the ball, and then your eyes just like drop with that softball. I can't imagine standing there with a bat.
Aaliyah Hood now steps up, sophomore, takes ball one. And this is a young Albia squad, too. I think just looking through the roster, I think they have one senior on it in total, and that's Avery Halstead, who's over at first base today. The 1-0 stays up for ball 2. Hood showing some patience. Again, 413 BA for the sophomore this season. 19 singles, 15 doubles. Hood will take her first strike. Move that count to 2-1. That ball up in the zone, fouled back.
Yeah, good rise ball there. Again, just starts going up, and as Hood, she's looking at that, thinking that's coming down the middle, and then it just starts to rise on her, and when she goes to hit it, it pops up. Yeager was hoping that she would pop it up in the middle of the infield. That's what that pitch is designed to do, but a foul ball works as well.
Takes a little off, and that'll one hop into the catcher's mitt.
It is
rushy.
Yeah, it is getting a little warm already this morning, so obviously we could see, the pitchers having trouble controlling those balls.
That ball chopped. Yeager throws over. Her mask kind of dipped down on her, so she had almost eye covering, having to make that throw blind, but she induces the 1-3 out.
Yeah, and somebody like Yeager that's been playing softball at a high level for so long, she's almost at a point now where she just knows where first base is at, so you could put your hand over her eyes when she turns and throws and would probably be somewhere close.
Here's the shortstop, Lily DeMoss now. And strike one. DeMoss, a junior as well, 341. 22 ribs. Sits with an 0-1 count. Yeager trying to keep that down. It'll stay down. And DeMoss has worked it to a 1-1 count. They'll both look into the dugout for that signal. That ball inside, nearly catching DeMoss. She shuffles out of the way quickly.
Yeah, one of those, just lean back and get out of the way of it.
So 2-1 count. This game moving along nicely as that ball shot back up the middle, bobbled it short. DeMoss beats the throw as it's dropped at first, and she's aboard. That ball was hard hit to Ariana Beekman. Beekman just couldn't quite corral it. And I think DeMoss beats the throw there, even if it's held on to.
Yeah. Yep, she was there. Good job of keeping that ball out of the outfield, though. That ball scoots out in the outfield. You don't never know. DeMoss could try to stretch that out into two. Depends on how well it's handled out in the outfield. So good job of keeping the ball in the infield, keeping it to a single.
They rule it a hit. Now it's Addie Pearson's turn, the third baseman, sophomore. 25 RBIs, 5 home runs this year. And she hits that high, hard, out into left. And tracking it beautifully out there in left was Addison Hoagie, and Hoagie cans the third out of the inning. One runner left on base on one hit. No runs to show for it for Albia as we go to the top of 2 here on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
Different people have different needs, so Delta Dental of Iowa has affordable dental and vision coverage that meets you where you are. Small business on a budget? We have options with no employer costs. Traditional Medicare plans don't cover dental, but we do. And if you can't get benefits at work, you can buy direct from us. Plus, we give back to local communities, so you help make an impact. Choose Delta Dental for your smile, for your health, for your community.
Hillary Rushy due to lead things off here for ELC in the top of 2. Freckwald there in the 2-hole, and Nath will stand in the hole as we get ready for the second inning of action. And as I mentioned in the pregame, Hillary Rushy, also a state champ in shot put in Class 2A. Was a Drake Relays qualifier as well. Yep. Competed there, finished 5th and 6th. So no stranger to big stages.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And, she'll look comfortable. I was actually around the shot put pit when she was throwing and won that state title. And That was one of the things that I noticed was she just looked comfortable. You know, is kind of like what we're going to see when she comes to the plate here. Is she just stands in there and throws it like it's nothing. So
it's Pence versus Rushy. Rushy will take strike one.
That's what you need from a catcher, right? You need that sustainability of somebody that's going to be a calming voice back there that knows what's going on.
Absolutely, is that ball will work inside.
The catcher has got to be, the one player on the field that just always knows where the ball is going, right? If we have a runner at first and a runner at second, 1 out, 2 outs, where are we going with the softball? What are we doing? It's always got to be the catcher.
Swing and a miss induced by Pence there, and almost the quarterback.
Yeah.
They've got the best view of everything on the field, every moving piece. As we work 1-2 here. That ball popped up, and that's going to get out of play and keep the at-bat alive. And on the other side, Madeline Van Loon for Albia behind the dish, a taller catcher. But I'd say both of these gals are taller catchers.
Yeah. Here, I'll throw a different one in there. How about the setter on the diamond?
There you go. It's a great reference there. That'll be in the dirt for ball 2.
The other thing is, too, just that, somebody that doesn't panic, because every once in a while there's times where the catcher will call time, right? They see something wrong with the pitcher, and they'll go out there and have a conversation. And sometimes people think that
ball chopped.
Foul.
They're going to call a foul ball, as that's going to be a signaled foul, and I think we're going to wait for that. We got a foul ball, and she's going to have to come back.
She doesn't know this yet. They still haven't figured it out.
They're all looking home. Or they're looking out across the dugout.
Yeah, nobody realized that Rushy ran down there hard. The ball went away. The crowd was telling her to run to second, and nobody had realized that it was a foul ball.
It was a quiet call for foul. But the arms came up.
Yeah, it was called right away.
There's ball 3.
Gives me a chance to continue on the conversation. So sometimes people will think that every time a catcher goes out to talk to a pitcher, like they're talking strategy or they're talking softball. But as somebody who pitched before in my life, my catcher used to, a lot of times, would tell me a funny joke. Like, he would just have a bunch of dad jokes lined up.
As Rushy drops that one into shallow left for the bloop single, and she's aboard. First base runner of the day for ELC.
He would just have a bunch of dad jokes lined up, and if he could tell that I was frustrated or was, not focused on the game because I was mad about a call or something else, he'd just call time, come out, tell me a funny dad joke, and we'd laugh about it, and then, try to get you dialed back in.
Drag bunt right to Pence. Pence bobbles, and now we've got a little bit of a rundown. Rushy's stuck between second and third. She's going to try and milk it, and we've got a good old-fashioned pickle. Rushy's going to be tagged out, but heady play by Breckwald to slide into second. She turns her infield. I think that's going to be ruled an error, but ultimately still leads to an out.
Yeah, that was a little wildness. Rushy went around the base. I think if Rushy would have went back to second immediately, I think she could have dove in and maybe been there, but decided to get in the rundown, hoping, at this level, these girls are really good, but you see mistakes happen sometimes. So I think Rushy was thinking, knowing she's been in big moments like this, if she can put pressure on somebody, they might make a mistake. So I think she was thinking, if you get into a rundown here, maybe they'll throw the ball over the head and past third base, or throw it out into the outfield and maybe even have a chance to score there. So, but Albia did a really good job of staying composed and getting that ball back and forth between each other.
Nath tries to lay down the bunt, and instead fouls it back to the mesh here for strike 2. Nath only batting 167 this year, but has a runner in scoring position.
And I think the one thing that Albia did really good in that situation is the pressure's not on Albia, right? The pressure is on Rushy and her in the middle of the base pass. So, there's no point in rushing a throw and hurrying up a throw. Just make a good fundamental throw every single time, because there's no pressure on you as a defense. Unless you throw one into right field.
Absolutely. That pitch just missing the zone, so it's a 1-2 count. 1 out. And there's a swing and a miss. Strike 3 and the third K of the day for Grace Pence. So 2 down, 1 aboard still. And Ariana Beekman now up, the shortstop for the Midgets. Beekman this season, .213 batting average. Pence delivers. That ball taken across the heart of the plate for strike one. Yeah, to that point, I mean, and that was a well-done pickle. Sometimes you try and get a player caught in no man's land and try and draw some interference if you can. But, again, Albia really seemed prepared for it. And that's back to coaching. We talk about all those years of experience that Coach Achenbach has. And I guarantee it's a point of emphasis.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Beekman works with a 1-1 count now as Pence sets. Fires it in there. That's flared out into right down the line. Coming up with it beautifully out there is Ayla Green for out number 3. After one hit, one left on base, no runs for ELC. We go to the home half of 2 on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
At Mid-American Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Avery Halstead due up, first baseman for the Lady D's. We'll lead things off. Pence on deck and Green in the hole for Albia as we get ready for the home half of 2. And Riley Yeager going to get right back to work. Had a strikeout there in the first inning. Gave up one hit. But other than that, pitched cleanly there in that first frame. Still scoreless. Both teams with a hit. One error to Albia's name so far, but it didn't cost him anything.
Yeah.
If anything, it helped with an out.
Yeah, it's been a fun game so far. Kind of the battle we expected to have, and so far that's what it's been.
Pitchers duel coming into these. Both these 2 pitchers ranked tops in this class in categories such as opponent's batting average, strikeouts. So expect quite a few today as Yeager delivers the first pitch of the second. That one just flared, and what an effort over there at first by Breckwald. Nearly comes up with the diving grab in foul territory.
Yeah, I thought that ball was drifting into the bullpens down there behind the dugouts, but good job by Breckwald by not giving up on it and just saying, oh, that one's a foul ball, and she actually went after it and made a good effort at it.
She'll dust herself off in an 0-1 count now. Here to Halstead. The 0-1, what a string pull by Yeager on that one. That's twice now we've seen it so far, and that's just a beautiful changeup.
I'm not sure softballs are supposed to move like that.
It looks like she's releasing a fastball, too, and I think that's what's so deceiving about it is she's got the 0-2 count working ahead. She'll work that inside and try and get Halstead to swing. Does not, so 1-2.
That moved in like 3 different – I've got like the perfect view like right at it when it comes out of her arm. That moved like 3 different directions. That's what it looked like.
So a 1-2. Yeager gets the check swing. They say she goes around, and there is strike 3. Again, the changeup just so nasty from Yeager. And her first strikeout of the second inning goes to Halstead. We'll bring up Grace Pence. It's pitcher v. pitcher here.
Both these 2 schools had good games in the regional finals. Had to compete.
Pence, ground ball through the left side, fielded cleanly, throw across, is in time. Great dig over there at first by Breckwald on the throw by Beekman.
Yeah, good call over there too. We got a great officiating crew as we always do here at the state tournament, and good scoop. Ball's in the glove before the foot got there, and yeah, let's watch it.
Jason Slater over there on the call, and again, clean ground ball, fielded nicely. Just beating the runner out there, and so 2 quick outs, and Yeager will set up against Ayla Green. Green offers at it.
ELC had to beat Algona, and they went to 12 innings in that regional final, 3-2. ELC actually, we'll see if this comes into play later on in this game, but they were down to their final out twice in that game and were able to stay alive before they finally walked it off and won 3-2. And on the side of Albia, they won 5-2 over Estherville. Estherville had runners on base there in the final inning, and Albia was able to get out of it. So close games all around for both these teams getting here.
That ball lifted just foul as Green gets a piece of it.
Albia had a 1-0 win in the opening round of the regional tournament to Clark, then beat Davis County 8-0. Western Christian, Boyden Hall, Rock Valley were the two teams that lost to ELC in the first 2 rounds, and then of course that really close one with Algona. Both teams could have been here, but it was ELC that came out on top.
Jaegers 0-2, missing just outside. And that's just it. You can't take a regional game off, let alone a state game, and because anyone can beat anybody once you start getting into those, especially semifinal games and championship regional games. Jaegers working with a 1-2 count. That ball fouled back. Both these teams won their respective conferences, both of them perfect in conference play this year.
Yeah, ELC was 8-0 in the Lakes Conference this year, whereas on the other side for Albia, they went 14-0 in the South Central Conference. And ELC played a couple of state tournament teams in the regular season, beat Newman Catholic 2-1, lost to North Polk, who's now in a 4A semifinal 5-2, and then beat Fort Dodge St. Edmunds right here on this exact very field by a score of 2-1. So this is the Fort Dodge St. Edmunds field in the regular season. And ELC won a game right here on this field, so have experience this season winning here.
2-2 count to Ayla Green. Green watches that stay up in the zone as well. And you mentioned North Polk. In case you missed it yesterday, the Comets with a 7-3 comeback in the 7th inning to push it to extras, and then they walk it off in the 9th. Go back and watch that one here on the Girls Union Network. Those are all online as well. The payoff fouled back.
Now, as a lot of people did, and maybe you did what you're calling it too, but I thought for sure that was a walk-off. Like, I thought that ball was, as soon as I saw that ball off the bat, I was like, that's a home run.
We were calling it. Our Joanna Settles, who was on the call with me, was saying it's out, and it falls just a foot short of the fence. Still did the job, but what a moment that would have been. No less. It was a thriller here on the Iowa Central field. As we sit full count, payoff and a swing and a miss for Ayla Green. Strikeout number 3 on the day for Riley Yeager. And we stay scoreless. No hits, none left on base. 1-2-3 inning for Albia as we go to the top of 3 on the Girls Union Network.
Hello, I'm Brent Johnson, an Iowa farmer from Calhoun County and president of the Iowa Farm Bureau. As proud title sponsor of the state softball tournament, the Iowa Farm Bureau is dedicated to creating a vibrant future for Iowa through partnerships and programs that help cultivate individuals with great character, a strong work ethic, and exceptional leadership skills. Making it to the state tournament is a great accomplishment that takes a lot of support. That's why we provide millions of dollars in awards, grants, and scholarships that recognize athletic and academic excellence. The well-being of Iowa students is also very important to Farm Bureau. That's why we provide concussion insurance coverage at no cost for all students in grades 9 through 12 who participate in a sanctioned sport. As just one of only 7 states to provide this coverage, it's just another way we're striving to support Iowa's outstanding young leaders. So, from the Iowa Farm Bureau, congratulations to all the players and coaches on an outstanding season, and good luck in the tournament.
Designated player Kylie Schneider now up. And we'll lead things off here in the top of the 3rd for Estherville Lincoln Central. 23-7 they come into this game as there's a swing and a miss. Albia entered 28-3. Again, 2 teams that played their best softball when it matters most here. That one out of the zone.
So we were just talking about that almost Grand Slam in the North Polk game. Would have just been the 16th ever Grand Slam in a state tournament game if it would have went.
Such a wild stat right there, and swing and a miss there from Schneider again. It's, you know, they're just so rare, and then mixing the environment and then mixing that situation too.
Yep.
What that would have been. Again, still not taking away from any of the late game drama that it brought, but 1-2 now. That rise ball stays up, and it was a fun game to call. You sit there, and it was with 2 outs, mind you, too, that they got those 3 runs that tied things up at 7, and it was just a wild game. And it was a wild 4A bracket yesterday as the 2-2s brought in and nubbed foul. You look at the 4A bracket, and had Western Dubuque been able to knock off North Polk, all 4 low seeds would have advanced.
Bracket upsets for sure. Yeah.
Ella started it with the stunner against Xavier. Then the North Scott game against Norwalk kind of shocked me as well.
Yeah, I watched a lot of that game, and North Scott just came to play. They're a team that has experience down here at the state tournament. They know what it takes to win down here. And, what's cool is we did actually get the 16th all-time Grand Slam yesterday as well, as Amanda Fink from Cedar Falls hit a Grand Slam on the top half of the first inning and is on their way to their upset victory over Southeast Polk yesterday. So,
heard that was a slugfest as well.
Yeah, 12-11. Really fun game. And that was first Grand Slam in 4 years. Last one was Jesse Meyer by Pleasant Valley in 2021.
Swing and a miss there. This is Addison Hoagie up. She's working with a 1-1 count. Keep in mind, Schneider went down swinging a batter ago. 4 strikeouts now for Pence today. That ball fired right back up the middle, and we have another runner aboard in Addison Hoagie with the single right up the heart of that defense.
Yeah, good job there. Good piece of hitting by Hoagie. Hitting coaches will always tell you. I mean, that's what you're supposed to do. Line drives right back up the middle. That is the most fundamental hitting that you can have. That's what you're aiming to do, is just hit it right back up. Does that there.
So with 1 out, ELC trying to advance the runner with some small ball. The throw does not get there in time, and that's Kara Schiltz with the infield single, and what was supposed to be a sack bunt, she makes it a little bit better.
Yeah, exactly, and this is exactly what I talked about in the pregame show. Is these two teams, once they get a runner on base, they're going to try to just move them over, and they both teams. Let's watch this one again, just right back there, and bang bang play. Ty goes the runner, and she's safe.
So 1 out. It's Riley Yeager trying to help her cause. She'll lay off the outside pitch.
And this is perfect for ELC. This is exactly what they wanted to set up into, and that's why they, put on the sack bunt, which was meant to be look like a sack bunt, but I think she, the whole time she's hoping to get on there and reach. And now you bring a slap hitter on, if she can slap one right past the defense, it's going to play up because of her being a slap hitter. Should easily score a run, as that ball, if it's past any of the defenders, will be into the outfield.
Got to remember, Schiltz is the leadoff batter, too. Center fielder, probably the fastest player on this team. So that bunt will always have a chance to put her aboard. Yep. She'll drag it there. That'll drift foul, though. Strike 2, and Yeager in a spot.
Yeah, and that was meant for a hit the whole time down the third base side. Of course, some people are wondering, why go to third base when you've got a runner at second base? Well, it's because of by the time that ball gets that third baseman, there's going to be no chance to get that ball back to the shortstop at third base. So it's the only play is ever going to be at first base.
They're going to pitch it out a bit here and get her to swing and miss. Strike 3 as Yeager goes down swinging as well. Out number 2. That's just a great pitch by Pence, knowing that the slap hitter's looking to send that opposite way.
Yeah, just throw it outside, let her chase after it. If she doesn't go after it, then we just do it all over again. It's just a ball and nothing's hurt.
Now it's Haley Stokes. She'll wait on that one. The other thing, too, the reason you don't want to go right side, you had Zanoni pushing in from second there, and that push is where you need to be.
Yep.
So a 1-0. Make that 2-0 as Stokes shows the patience again in the batter's box. She went down swinging in her first at bat. Grace Pence delivers, gets a swing and a miss there. Again, Stokes this season has been pretty solid, if I do recall. Batting .362, 24 RBIs. She'll leave that down and in.
Just an 0.7 ERA this season for Pence, so hasn't given up a whole lot of runs this season. You look up and down the record of Albia, and it's a lot of zeros. Do have a loss to Davenport Assumption.
3-1 fouled back.
Gave up 6 runs in that loss, but otherwise, North Scott scored 5 runs on them. Again, a team that's going to play into the semifinals. Lost to Fairfield. Kind of a little bit of a surpriser there for Albia, but those happen throughout the season.
The payoff, foul back, will do it again. Runners going at the release.
Actually, one piece of history for you, too. Go back to Albia's 2020 state title team. The only loss that season was a loss in the exact same tournament to Fairfield. Now, Fairfield was a pretty good team that made the state tournament that year in 2020.
That's fouled back once again. But I think that's the benefit, especially for Albia playing some of those late season tournaments where they're playing some of those top-end teams in a class that's above them. And now we sit full count one more time. Swing and a miss. It's squeezed nicely behind the dish by Van Loon for strikeout number 3 in the inning. 2 left on base on a pair of hits for ELC, but no runs to show for it. We remain scoreless as we go to the home half of 3 on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
At Mid-American Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Welcome back. You're enjoying the 2025 Girls State Softball Championships, brought to you by the Iowa Farm Bureau. As proud supporters of the IGHSAU, the Iowa Farm Bureau is committed to championing the talent, determination, and potential of our young athletes, the future of Iowa. Thanks again to the Iowa Farm Bureau for presenting the 2025 Girls State Softball Championships as the sole title sponsor of the Girls High School Athletic Union. Iowa Farm Bureau honors both academic and athletic excellence, helping to nurture the next generation of Iowa leaders. The Iowa Farm Bureau knows that strong schools build strong communities. That's why they proudly support the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union and this inspiring Girls State Softball Championship. By supporting Iowa's youth, they're helping build Iowa's future. So we're in the home half of 3, and due up is Zoe Zanoni. Second base for this Albia squad, and she'll take ball 1.
This the batting gloves that Zanoni's wearing here, this must be a trend. I've seen a number of girls, it's the exact same logoed gloves, so it must be the same brand, just in different colors.
Is it the lightning bolt?
Yeah, the lightning bolt.
I've got to find that brand.
Yes, I think it was Southeast Polk earlier today. I think about every girl on the team had the exact same ones. So it must be a trendy glove.
Let's see what I can find out in our quick.
Everybody just
standing
uses
here.
Different colors.
Favorite
colors.
Sit 1 and 1. The Bruce Bolt batting gloves.
Okay.
That's what they are, yeah. I remember, and batting gloves have evolved so much since our playing days.
Yeah.
I mean, I think back, and now they've got the full wrap. It used to just be the little half wrap over the wrist, and
maybe they give you extra distance.
Maybe a little extra juice in those hands. They are not cheap, though. I'll tell you that much. That's laced out into left and falls in, gets all the way past the left fielder and to the fence, and that's going to be a stand-up double for Zoe Zanoni, and a multi-base hit. The extra base is there. Sponsored by Channel Seeds, the enhanced Channel Seed brand, here to help farmers like you up your game and rise to the challenge. Learn more at channel.com/rise. As Zanoni, the big leadoff double, has the Lady D's hit threatening spot with Addie Hill at the top of the order.
Yeah, just a good piece of hitting there. Found a spot, picked a spot. They've been able to see Yeager a little bit now and maybe pick up a little bit of a pattern of what she likes to throw. She has so many different pitches that sometimes, you can pick up patterns.
And that's Van Loon, I'm sorry, lays down the bunt, moves the runner over, does her job.
Yeah, there's a small ball there that we continue to talk about. Estherville Lincoln Central tried it as well. Didn't work out for them, but now Albia's in a really good spot. With that runner at third with only 1 out, really the only way you keep her from scoring is a pop-up in the infield or a strikeout. Anything to the right side of the infield, she's coming home on. Anything fly to the outfield, she's coming home on.
Zanoni watches on at third as Addie Hill steps in. 1 out. Yeager goes to work. Hill will watch that dip low and away.
Even with a ball to shortstop, with the shortstop playing at normal depth here, depends on how quick that ball gets to the shortstop. Probably going home on those as well. Early in the game, you can take a little extra risk.
Hill swings and a miss. Again, that changeup just has these batters on their heels.
Yeah, but making contact on Yeager is easier in theory than actual fundamentals of actually doing it. So it seems easy. All you got to do is put the ball in play. Well, putting the ball in play against Yeager is not easy.
As Hill puts it out of play, and that foul off puts her to 1-2 count. Also, really appreciate the Albia kind of throwback look of their uniforms. 1-2, one down, runner at third. Hill lifts that out of play as well. Nearly clears that mesh down the first baseline.
Yeah, then it rolled off the net and almost landed on top of the girls that are sitting just outside of the Estherville Lincoln Central dugout. That would have been a surprise to them.
So the 1-2 once again. Here from Yeager. Hill touts a good eye.
Yeah, good job wasting a pitch there by Yeager. Threw one on the outside corner. Probably didn't mean to go that far with it. Definitely was just trying to hit an outside corner, get a swing and a miss there on a 1-2 pitch.
Hill moves up in the box, maybe looking for a changeup here.
Yeah.
Calls for time and wants a reset. This is a big spot right here. The first threat that Albia's really had in this game.
Yeah, Yeager shook off the dugout there. The dugout gave her a sign of a pitch, and she said no, and then time was called. She's still shaking her head.
She doesn't like it.
Yeah, there's been confusion throughout this entire game so far between dugout and Yeager. I think just trying to get that communication on par.
Change up right there, and there's strike three to Addie Hill for out number 2.
I think that's the pitch that Yeager wanted to throw, and whatever was coming from the dugout was not that pitch, and Yeager just kept shaking it off, saying, no, I want to throw the change up here, and finally got her way to do it, and shows why.
Aaliyah Hood now up, and, if I'm coach, I'm calling that change up with any 2-strike spot and just saying, all right, let's see if you can hit it.
Yeah.
2 down, Hood. Nice job as a backstop there by Rushy.
I can understand why the dugout maybe, in that spot maybe doesn't want that pitch because, if you get a batter that does recognize it, sit back on it, it's basically a slow right down the middle pitch that can be driven somewhere with one out, and that ball is a fly ball to the outfield. That's what that pitch is intended to do, to either strike you out or get you to be early on it and pop it straight up. But if you pop it up to the outfield, it's a run coming home.
2-0 count. Signals coming in. That's going to stay low in the zone. Full count. Assume Hood's going to take here. And we talked about batting gloves. Hood, a rarity in today's game. No batting gloves for her.
Yeah. You don't see it very often. It's all about being comfortable.
3-0. There's a strike. Makes it 3-1. Zanoni has been camped at third ever since the sack bunt by Van Loon a couple of batters ago.
This would be huge momentum for ELC if they can get out of this without a run scoring.
The 3-1 from Yeager. That'll paint the corner on the inside. Works the count full. And now we've got a decisive spot in this game right here. Full count, 2 down. Runner at third, the payoff. Swing and a miss from Hood, back-to-back Ks. Gets Yeager out of the jam. 1 hit, 1 runner left on base, no runs to show. And we head to the 4th, scoreless still on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
Excelling in athletics takes teamwork, dedication, and a commitment to excellence. These are the same qualities that help our pig farmers and our communities thrive. The Iowa Pork Producers Association is proud to support statewide high school athletics and the student athletes who make us all proud. Visit iowapork.org/WeCare to meet the people behind the pork and hear about our winning approach to caring for our pigs, the environment, and our communities.
SWIC is a community. Southwestern Community College is a place in rural southwest Iowa where students from across the world come to be a part of a tight-knit family, Spartan Nation, where they study, train, grow, thrive, and are called by name, not by number. At SWIC, we are one.
Zarin Eggestal joining John Schaefer today. That's me, by the way, in case I go out of order there. Zarin, we were just chatting about good old days of youth equipment a little bit, and batting gloves were always all the buzz.
Yeah.
Whoever had the nice batting gloves, Louisville Sluggers back in the day. What was your go-to brand? Do you remember?
DeMarini.
Okay.
There we go.
I was an Easton guy.
Yeah, it was on the tip of my tongue. I just couldn't. Yeah, I have both of the DeMarini glove and gloves.
That ball's roped by Rushy. Out of here in a hurry for a solo shot. And ELC takes a 1-0 lead.
Just like that, we mentioned it could come down to one moment in this game. And the way this has gone so far, Rushy puts her team on top.
First pitch she sees, says kiss it goodbye.
That was just a line drive bullet out of the park, and it, like you said, got out here in a hurry.
Her 6th home run on the year, too.
Wow.
Yeah, that thing was on a rope, and just left fielder just watched it.
Yeah.
That extra base hit, once again, brought to you by Channel Seeds, and that was a touch-em-all extra base hit there. It's a 1-0 game. And ELC can keep things rolling here with Casey Breckwald. She reached on an error, got all the way around to second. Back in the second inning. Sits with a 1-0. And now if you're Pence, you've got to calm things down a little bit. We saw that in yesterday's game, too, the first one of the day where, home run and then the next pitcher was able to get a ground out and calm things back down. That's a swing and a miss for Breckwald.
Yeah, and if you're Albia, I mean, you can't be too worried about a solo shot. Obviously, ELC hasn't given up a lot of runs this year, but to good teams, ELC has given up at least one run in just about every game they played. So if you're Albia, you can score on Yeager and company. A lot of their shutouts have come from teams that they're way advanced past, but it's not gonna be easy, but definitely is doable.
There's a strike 3 to Breckwald.
What's interesting about the win for ELC in the regional final, also over Algona. They played Algona earlier in the year and lost 11-2.
Wow.
In the regular season, and they come back and win 3-2 to be here at the state tournament. But good wins over good teams. But like I said, a lot of those teams have scored runs this year.
Swing and a miss as Pence gets strike 1 on Grace Nath. Nath struck out back in the second as well. And that's just it. You got to score a run anyway if you want to win a game. Now you just got to get 2 as that ball shot over to first, takes a wicked hop off of the shin of Halstead, and Nath is on base.
I think Halstead thought that ball was going to jump up at her. She was kind of waiting for that ball to come to her, and I think she thought maybe with the trajectory. Obviously, let's watch this one again. I think she thought the ball was going to bounce up at her. We get so used to these small schools that we get so used to playing on our small school diamonds, and I don't want to, but a lot of times the small school diamonds will have some extra hops, maybe not have the level of perfection that the grounds crew here in Fort Dodge does. So a lot of the hops here are pretty true, and ground balls a lot of times are going to stay on the ground because the grounds crew does so good. And that segues perfect into talking about so Sunday here in Fort Dodge, there was a huge storm that blew in, so much so like the tarps that were on the fields here, these main 2 fields, actually got blown off of the fields, and they were extremely, extremely wet. And we came in yesterday, you couldn't even notice it.
That's popped up and then doubled off over at first. What a heads-up play by Pence, and she lets out a roar after doubling up and getting out of that inning after giving up 1 run on 1 hit as Beekman pops up, and another look at it right here. Nice job by Pence, react and make the throw over. And it's a 1-0 lead for ELC off the solo shot from Hillary Rushy. Albia will try and answer back in the home half of 4 when we come back.
At Mid-American Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Well, if there's a spot in the lineup you want to respond with, it's your 3, 4, and 5 hitter. It's Lily DeMoss, Addie Pearson, and Avery Halstead due up. And, well, now Albia kind of knows the benchmark that they've got to get to here. And if you're ELC, the mentality is just kind of keep doing what we're doing, I guess?
Yeah, absolutely. And for Albia, it's just, we don't need to hit a home run. Like, a home run would be nice, and you got home run hitters that are coming up, girls that have hit home runs this season. So a home run would be nice, but we don't need a home run. A couple singles and, then a base hit, fly ball, things like that, stolen base. And just like that, you can erase that deficit of 1 run and be right back on the board.
So here is Lily DeMoss here in the bottom of the 4th. That ball's across the middle of the plate for strike 1.
DeMoss wearing 77. You don't always see that number.
Gotta love the high number call-outs there.
On a baseball and softball diamond.
This is the 6-3 matchup, mind you. ELC, the 6th seed. That ball's chopped over to short. Bobbled twice, and once again, DeMoss is on base.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the third error. Pardon me, the first error against ELC. Albia has a couple of them charged to them so far today, and the official scorer agrees that will be an error charged there. So both teams now with an error in the game.
And the leadoff runner on base for Addie Pearson. Pearson, the third baseman this season. 5 home runs, has the power. As Yeager steps in, instead Pearson will take the hit by pitch. And now's the time for Rushy to go visit the circle and calm things down.
That's exactly what she's going to do. And, this is one of those situations. Obviously, Rushy going out there, her and Yeager have played a lot of sports together, and I would assume, our friends, at least classmates that know how to communicate with each other, and maybe a little bit a strategical conversation, but also maybe just calm everybody down and remind everybody, as you see, look at the leadership from Yeager out there. After that hit by batter, she's looking at all of her teammates and saying, okay, what are we doing with the softball? Where are we going with it?
Yeager and Rushy, both seniors on this team.
Yep.
They've been around each other a whole heck of a lot. There's no outs. That's popped up and fouled off. A barehanded play and doubled off at first. The highlight reel by Rushy.
Yeah, she caught that with her bare hand.
And they're going to confer on this as Achenbach makes an appeal that it wasn't a true pop-up foul ball. It's just a strike.
She caught that with her bare hand. That was incredible.
They're calling a dead ball foul.
Okay.
And now we're going to get a conversation behind home plate.
And then that obviously wasn't what they had a conversation. He called it a dead ball, and then immediately first base umpire. Now they're going to go back and change something.
Batter's out, and the throwdown is out.
Double play.
And that's got to be a top 10 play.
Yeah. I mean,
of the tournament.
Let's watch that again. That was so cool.
Fouled off the bat. She makes it barehanded grab, then throws down. And Achenbach wants another conversation.
Yeah, Coach Achenbach
he's a bit fuming.
A little upset about that.
And his appeal is that the ball wasn't popped up over her head to make the catch. He's saying it's got to be over her head. Now Coach Achenbach gets a warning. And the thing is here, if you're Albia and Coach Achenbach, still have a runner at second. You have 2 outs. You have Grace Pence up. It's just, you got to tip your cap to Rushy on that play. And at the end of the day, it was a cop ball. I don't have a rule book on me, nor am I. But I'll trust the 3 officials on the field to make 100%. That call.
100%. That's where I'm at with it. I mean, I know the rule book fairly well, but by no means an expert in rule book, and so I will always defer to an officiating crew, especially with 3 of them. When they come together and they all 3 agree, okay, this is what the ruling is, those 3 minds all together.
Change up gets Pence to fan at it. Still just a wild play, and that all that extra kind of takes away.
And now we've got time.
Fan.
No, it looks like
the tarp's coming off.
The tarp came off of the roll. The outfield tarp netting came off.
So we'll wait here on the Iowa Central field for a little bit of help on the tarp cover-up.
Yeah.
And that'll should calm some things down a little bit too, but all of the extra hoopla takes away from what's an incredible play by Hillary Rushy.
Right. I mean, the reflexes of that, you know, a lot of times that ball is just going to fall down to the ground because, you know, you got to think very quick. You probably can't even think about that. I mean, that just has to be pure instinct of put my hand out and try to catch the ball. And then to be able to squeeze, that's the other thing, is it's one thing to get your hand out there at the ball. It's another thing to be able to squeeze that softball. I mean, a baseball is one thing because it, you know, fits in the palm of your hand, but a softball is so much bigger. To be able to get that in your hand and squeeze it. We've talked about how warm it is. There's a video shot of our stoppage. Yeah. So the cover of the tarp has come loose.
And that's a safety issue, obviously.
Of course.
And so
if there's a foul ball down there running after it, a player's, you know, could easily slip.
Get tangled up in it. End up into the tubing that it rolls up around. With that, let's go ahead and take a quick break here. If our director is okay with that, we'll head to a quick break on the Girls Union Network powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
At Mid-American Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Well, let's take one more look at that snag by Rushy because it was worth every bit of it. The foul tip comes right back. Rushy just dives with her hand at it, basically.
Yeah.
And then fires back down. And I want to point out the other thing is the wherewithal. It's not just throw it back to her pitcher like it was no big deal. She had the awareness to throw down to first, try and double up a runner. And that's how we sit with 2 outs. Just a crazy play.
Yeah, and you can't blame Coach Achenbach either. You know, he's sticking up for his team. You know, I would be more worried if the coach wasn't sticking up for his girls than was. So you can't blame either side.
And I get his point. Most foul balls, there's a distance traveled, right? Otherwise, a foul tip, you know, on a full swing, that's not an out. It's just an offering at first strike. So we sit 0-1 to Grace Pence. Runner at second, 2 outs. That's Lily DeMoss sitting out there at second as Pence fans at strike 2. And now, Pence sits 0-2. Swing and a miss, a beautiful breaking ball there from Riley Yeager. Gets strikeout number 7, 6 on the day. As we will head now to the top of 5 with ELC up 1-0.
This is you. And you are why we do what we do. Each and every one of you are wonderful, amazing people. So we'll treat you that way on your journey of trusted care. Because the way you, and you feel matters. Unity Point Health. Know how much you matter to this world.
Well, I did a quick Google search, and this is solely off the AI overview, but it says there's no specific height a foul ball must reach to be considered an out when caught. So there's that. It's different than a foul tip full swing, as it was a bunt attempt. So we will move on from it, and I'm sure we'll see that highlight on social media at some point in some manner as Pence goes right back to work.
And I think if you're Albia, you just kind of flush that. It's still a 1-0 game right now. You're just focused on getting 3 outs, getting back to the dugout in the bottom half of the 5th inning. You've got 9 outs to work with offensively, so plenty to go here for Albia.
Surrey Shadow up right now. Sits with an 0-2 count. She was in the flex role. She is batting in place of Kylie Schneider, the designated player. That ball will stay down. So Shadow's first plate appearance today. Batting 125 on the year. She'll swing and miss, strike 3. Another K here for Pence. She's up to 8 now on the day. So here's Hoagie. She singled up the middle in her first at bat. Fouls one back. That's a foul tip. The 0-1.
I went just off the corner there, trying to hit a spot on the outside corner is Pence.
Feels like things have calmed down a little bit
so.
since the excitement of the last half inning. 1-1. Swing and a miss, strike 2 for Hoagie, and she's in a hole.
A little adrenaline in the morning.
As if State didn't already do that for these 3A teams today.
Fun day, 3A, 2A, 1A.
That ball fired foul. Yeah, wrapping up quarterfinals today, and then we'll get into semifinal action tomorrow in what is a busy 5-day sprint in Fort Dodge. There's always the challenge in TV when you'd have 7 or 8 teams, across a few classes and trying to get them covered. As there's another strikeout, back-to-back Ks, sits Addison Hoagie down and will bring up Kara Schultz. There were years where I think we had 6 of 8 in Class 5A. We had, 5 of 8 in Class 4A, and then you just work your way down all the way through, and by the end of it, you have a nice tan and a lot of sweat built up. Ball 1 to Schultz. Pence delivers the 1-0. Gets a swing and a miss from Schultz there. Brings it to 1-1. Schultz reached on a bunt in the 3rd inning.
Yeah, things will get a little bit crazier next year, too, when we go to the double elimination tournament coming in 2026 here to the IGHSAU state tournament, so that'll be a lot of fun.
That ball popped up, heading into the foul territory. Stays fair just by a couple of inches. Drops into no man's land.
Yeah, tough play there. Obviously, shortstop's got the best. Well, left fielder's probably got the best angle at it. Shortstop usually the one to make that play. It's tough for the third baseman to run straight back and try to get underneath and catch that.
It's a double for Schultz, and extra base hits brought to you by Channel Seeds. And a 2-out rally has been sparked here as Riley Yeager now steps up, looking for her first hit on the day. 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. She'll leave that outside, but it is called a strike. Again, and I called that one as it was drifting foul, and I must have been a light gust there, just kept it down that line.
Yeah, and of course the umpire down there at third base has the best view of it, right at it. So
Swing and a miss for strike 2 from Yeager. Yeager's had a hard time finding Pence.
Yeah, it's been a tough day for Yeager at the plate, but she's been really dialed in the circle.
That's where you need her most right now.
Yeah.
And 0-2, one runner on. Schultz out at second. Yeager stays away from it for ball 1. So we sit 1-2.
She can slap one past the second baseman here. Should score a run.
She'll swing and miss, strike 3. 3 strikeouts, 1 hit though for ELC. Strands 1 at second, no runs. And it remains 1-0 as Albia is due up here in the 5th with Ayla Green leading off on the Girls Union Network powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
Here in Greater Des Moines, we're the unexpected sports mecca that feels like home. We are the big ballers, the little kickers, the underdogs, and the bulldogs. We've got events wacky and wild, big and small, we host them all. And that old sports cliche, nobody believes in us? Nah, when you come here, you'll believe. Because in Des Moines, only the S's are silent. Let's go!
At Mid-American Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
We're here in the home half of 5. John Schaefer with Zarin Egestal. And Zarin, it's been a fun one today here in a 1-0 showdown, but it certainly hasn't lacked life like some 1-0s do.
Yeah, no, it's been really fun. And if you're a defensive softball fan, a pitching softball fan, it's been such a fun game. There's been some interesting things that have happened that have kept it interesting, but it's been a lot of fun. And Rogers Park has always been the home of this tournament since 1970, and it's always just great to be out here and good summer day of high school softball.
Some facility updates allow us to go to that double elimination tournament next year as well. So there's a swing and a miss for strike 2 to Ayla Green. She struck out in her first plate appearance in the second inning.
Yeah, and it's, one of the big things that the IGHSAU said when they came out with the double elimination format in the fall is, that they have a great, strong relationship with the city of Fort Dodge and Fort Dodge Park and Rec Department that, kind of runs this site. And eventually there will be 5 of these championship fields with, accommodations similar to these 2 that we currently have. And it's going to be really cool.
7th strikeout there for Riley Yeager today as she sits down Ayla Green with 3 straight pitches. And I love that we're going to a double elimination tournament. Make that second game mean something.
Yeah.
I'll be curious to see if there are any tweaks to the championship game kind of mentality as time goes on. Just in the event you get a team that runs the table in pool play.
Yeah.
Or in that side of things ends up perfect in the championship, then they lose to a team that they may have beaten or something like that. Start getting those questions as that's fouled back for a 1-1 count.
Yeah, and eventually, things like that are going to come up, right? That's the fun of playing these games and playing these tournaments. And, one thing I look at is, the college women's World Series is so much fun to watch.
Yep.
And that's basically what they're bringing here as well. And, that's on my bucket list to get down to Oklahoma City at some point and be there in person to watch that, because it's so much fun just to sit back and watch all those days of softball on TV, and it'd be fun to be there in that environment.
Absolutely. I know it's exciting for everyone. I know behind us, our director and our management, as that's fouled off, our director and our management is thinking, yeah, things got to get a little harder in 2026 for us, though.
Yeah, but we'll find a way, and it'll be fun.
Oh, it will be. I'm not taking anything away from it. We will be there once again next year. As we sit with a 1-2 count with Zoe Zanoni. Zanoni had the double back in the third. Snuck under the left fielder's glove all the way to the wall. And she stares at strike 3. Backwards K for Yeager. Her first backwards K on the day. She's now up to 9 strikeouts.
Yeah, and she decided to go with the fastball there and instead of the changeup for a strikeout. And, that's what she does to change things up. A lot of those two-strike pitches, Albia right now is looking for that changeup, sitting back on it. And instead, it's the fastball. It zooms right past them.
Sorry, 8 strikeouts. Not preluding anything here as Madeline Van Loon is up. Had a sacked bunt in the third. She takes ball 1 there. You can feel it, temperature rising in the air a little bit too today. And I'm not talking about the action on the diamond, just weather-wise. There's the 1-0. That's chopped to short. Handled, thrown across, beats the runner there, and nicely done by by Beekman to get out number 3 and keep this a 1-0 game as we go to the top of the 6th on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
We know that carrying your groceries out to your car seems a bit old school. That saying hello and asking about your day feels like a thing of the past. Being best at fresh, it's not just a fad. Serving high-quality meat at affordable prices? Talk about a throwback. But at Fairway, that's kind of our thing. Because some things never go out of style. Friendly at Fairway. It's more than just a name.
Haley Stokes due up to lead things off for the Midgets here in the 6th inning. And then Hillary Rushy, last time she was up, hit the shot to left. And that is the lone run on the scoreboard today.
Yeah, I want to go back to that play, Beekman play, that shortstop play a moment ago. That's a really tough play. It looks kind of routine, but when you don't know whether it's going to, if you should play it on 1 hop or play it on 2 hops, it's always tough. It's kind of that in-between play. Do I run up and I try to play it on 1 hop? It might be a little bit tougher of a hop, but is that what I'm going to need to get it over there, or can I play it on 2 and still get it over there in time? This goes back to the quick decisions that have to be made by these players in a split second, and she decided to let it go on 2 hops and then still had time to get it over there in time. So, great play over there by the sophomore Beekman.
Once again, we're here on the Iowa Central field. We'd like to thank Iowa Central for being one of our diamond sponsors this year. The other diamond operating today is Channel Seeds.
And I think, some of these teams stay at Iowa Central. They're in the apartments on campus while they're here, so great accommodations. From experience, I can tell you.
That ball bunted, fielded cleanly, but the foot did get down in time.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, my angle was a little different, but Stokes is out at first. Nice job by Pence to get the throw over, and a nice foot down by Zanoni.
Yeah, I think Stokes, I don't think she meant to get that much English on that. I think she wanted a little bit softer off the bat to make it a little bit tougher of a play for Pence coming out of the circle, but got a little bit too much on it. Allowed Pence to get the ball over there in time.
Pulls the string on that change up for strike number 1 to Rushy. Rushy wanted to hop on first pitch again. That's what she did with the home run back in the 4th.
Big smile on her face. I think she came up looking for that first pitch to try to drive it somewhere.
Instead, she tries to sneak a bunt, fielded, lofted, and Zanoni will catch it on a nice little flip by Halstead for out number 2.
Trying to catch him off guard. You just hit a home run. Everybody's trying to play back a little bit, thinking, man, she's going to smoke this softball somewhere, and I want to be ready for it. And then she just lays down the bunt. Again, same thing Stokes did. I think she just got a little bit too much on it. That power there from her.
That ball blooped and drops in. A little English on it, and it will stay fair as it wraps around third base. That's an infield single for Casey Breckwald.
I think DeMoss there, once she knew she wasn't going to catch that, I think she kind of let it go out of her left hand, hoping that that ball would run in front of the bag and then go in foul territory because it would be a foul ball at that point. But it did not. Went behind the bag, and it's a fair ball.
8th grader Jasmine Smith comes in to courtesy run for Breckwald. A reminder, all substitutions brought to you by IMT Insurance. Learn how you can be worry-free with IMT at IMTINS.com.
2 stolen bases this year for Smith. Has 6 runs scored. Does have 1 AB this season. 6 runs scored, 2 stolen bases. That 1 AB, a K.
Grace Nath up, found that one back straight at us, caught us a little off guard. Swings and misses, strike 2. Get some speed on base and see if you can move her around a little bit here as Nath looking for her first hit of the game. She reached on an error in the 4th. Stares at strike 3, and she goes down looking for out number 3. 1 hit, 1 left on base, no runs as Albia goes to the home half, looking for their first run of the game here on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
At Mid-American Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Back here in Fort Dodge at the Harlan Rogers Sports Complex, and State Softball Week typically aligns with another big week in the state of Iowa's, Aaron, and that's Ragbri.
Yeah, and actually makes a little sense to bring that up now as they spent the night in Estherville last night. So I know some of these athletes and teams, athletes and fans came down last night, so we're here, which I know probably those that were on the committee, Estherville Ragbri committee, were hoping for a few more hands for it takes everybody, it takes an army to put that on. But fun event in the state, going from Estherville through the central part of the state and spending the night in Forest City tonight. So
always a good time. And
went to Minnesota for the first time yesterday.
Did a 10-mile stint up in Minnesota to add some length to it. Otherwise, it would have only been like a 25-mile day or something like that. So ball one there to Addie Hill leading things off. She is the top of the order for the Lady D's. Was fortunate enough to ride the 50th Ragbri, and I got my one in. That's looped up and drops in, and the little bloop falls in front of second. Addie Hill is on base with it. Couldn't see around our umpire or catcher there, and that was a nice little bloop single.
Yeah, and that's a tough play, and especially because of how tall Yeager is. A lot of times you're not going to be able to get that ball over a tall pitcher like Yeager because she stands so tall and then obviously has the glove length to be able to get up there. But that one just bloops over the top of her, going to be a base hit.
Now Aaliyah Hood stands in. 0 for 2 today. She'll show bunt. And Yeager brought some heat on that. Draws a foul off.
This is what Albia needs. You get that leadoff runner on, nobody out. Now it's just about small ball, moving her to second base. Get her to second if you can get a runner on with moving her to second base. Obviously, that's best case scenario, but the only thing that Albia needs to do right now is get that runner to second base, no matter how they do it.
That ball bunted. She's out at first. Nicely fielded there by the third baseman in Nath.
Yeah, does her job. Hood does her job there. Moves the runner to second base, and now you have the middle of the order coming up to try to bring that runner in. A base hit scores her with good speed at second base.
Getting into the 3, 4, 5 hitters here, too, with Lily DeMoss now up and one out. Runner at second. That's that tying run. Sits at second.
Yeah, we talk about, good power as well. Pearson coming up, 4 home runs this year.
DeMoss has reached base twice. Had a single back in the first, reached on an error in the fourth.
DeMoss has 21 RBIs this year, can add number 22, which would be one behind the team lead, currently held by Pearson, who's set to come up next. She can tie Pearson for the team lead with a 4-bagger here.
She leaves that up in the zone for ball 2.
Which will be her first of the season.
Yeager takes the sign. 2-0 whole hitters count here for DeMoss. DeMoss takes strike 1.
DeMoss leads the team in walks this season. She's taken 13 of them coming into this game. So she leads the team in that category, 13 of them. And on the other side for Yeager has only walked 36 batters in almost 160 innings this year.
That's wild. That ball's roped. Nearly takes out the media contingent up on the forklift.
And that's what's fun about, high school sports media, having relationships with the players. As you saw the camera guy from, I'm guessing, a TV station local to Albia there, somewhere in the area of Albia, the camera operator kind of pointed at DeMoss, and DeMoss kind of shook her head, smiling back at him.
That ball sneaks under the wickets of Rushy. It was a ball, so we have a full count, and then with that, Hill moves to third.
Yeah, wild pitch there, moves Hill to third base, and now even better case scenario because all she has to do is put one up in the air into the outfield here. Sack fly, scores a run, and ties this game.
Full count. Yeager shakes off one, takes to the next. That's roped out to second. No play at home there as that was snared quickly by Suri Chateau.
And that's what that changeup does. It got her out in front, slowed her up. DeMoss was close to sitting back on it, but it was still out in front of it and just got right at the second baseman. Just a little bit quick on that ball. Hit it with the top of the bat out in front of it and right at the second baseman. Best case scenario for ELC.
Now steps in the sophomore, Addie Pearson. 5 home runs this season, 25 RBIs. Was hit by a pitch an inning ago as she lays off that well outside the zone.
And I would say even better than a strikeout in that situation. The reason being is because, with strikeouts and how Yeager throws that ball sometimes, getting somebody to chase and strike out on a pitch sometimes could maybe throw Rushy off. And so with a strikeout, that ball could still get behind Rushy and bring that run home. So on a line drive right at the second baseman, the runner from third is not going anywhere.
Yeager delivers. That ball chopped over to the right side of the field. Handled, flipped. Shadow, no problem. Back-to-back putouts for her. One runner stranded at third. On one hit, no runs still. We'll go to the top of the 7th where ELC will try to extend their 1-run lead. The Girls Union Network powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
The Iowa Farm Bureau is proud to present the state softball tournament and celebrate the accomplishments of Iowa's student athletes. To the Iowa Farm Bureau, this is more than just a sport. It's hometown pride, it's hopes and dreams, it's our future leaders. It's a reason to do more and be more. And it's that farm-strong spirit that can only be found in Iowa. Congratulations to the student athletes and coaches on an outstanding softball season. And remember, today's successes are just the beginning of tomorrow's achievements.
7, 8, 9 due up here for Estherville Lincoln Central. The 6-seeded Midgets trying to knock off the 3-seed Albia Lady D's.
Yeah, right? Time for some insurance runs here for ELC. That's what they're thinking. 1 run feels safe right now with the way that ELC has been pitching the ball, but it's always nice to have a little bit of a cushion. If you get 2 or 3 runs here in this inning, which would be a tough ask, but if you get that, you're feeling really, really good going into the bottom half of the 7th inning.
And keep in mind, Albia has not been blanked by anyone but North Scott this season. That was a 5-0 final. North Scott, a 4A squad that's into the semifinals. They just have 3 losses this year. That ball grounded to short. Picked cleanly, throw across in time. Beautifully done over there by DeMoss.
Yeah, that game just recently back on the 5th of July. Had a couple of losses in a row. Lost that game to Fairfield, lost that game to North Scott.
Sometimes you need those, though, to reset late. You get on that roll, right? And their only other loss was to Davenport Assumption. As showing bunt, taking a strike, though, is Shadow. So an 0-1 count here to Surrey. Pence delivers. That's popped up and back and out of play. She struck out back in the 5th. She stepped into the 8th spot in the lineup for Kylie Schneider, who is the designated player.
We talked about the really good stat from Yeager, only 36 walks this season in her innings, but even higher for Grace Pence, has only walked 22 batters in now 145, 146 innings this season. So even any more incredible there.
Only giving up 16 earned runs, make it 17 with the home run tonight. As that ball skips in the dirt.
Did have a little bit of help this year. Addie Pearson, who we've seen at third base today, she has thrown about 40 innings this year, so hasn't had to do everything. Is Pence, but a lot of the big games, obviously Pence is pitching. She'll pitch throughout the state tournament, but Pearson's been able to come in some of these other games and take some innings off of Pence. It's a long summer as far as it's actually short in actual real time, but it's long with how many games you play. Some of these teams are playing 40, 45 games coming to the state tournament.
That ball dribbled over to second, throw over, and a 1-2-3 quick inning as Addison Hoagie grounds out to second base. That puts Albia at the plate. They need 1 to keep this game going, 2 to walk it off. Do the Lady D's have it? We'll find out next on the Girls Union Network, powered by the Mid-American Energy Company.
The Iowa Farm Bureau is proud to present the state softball tournament and celebrate the accomplishments of Iowa's student athletes. To the Iowa Farm Bureau, this is more than just a sport. It's hometown pride, it's hopes and dreams, it's our future leaders. It's a reason to do more and be more. And it's that farm-strong spirit that can only be found in Iowa. Congratulations to the student athletes and coaches on an outstanding softball season. And remember, today's successes are just the beginning of tomorrow's achievements.
We're back here at Harlan Rogers Sports Complex. You're watching the Iowa Girls State Softball Tournament presented by Iowa Farm Bureau on the Girls Union Network. And we, of course, powered by Mid-American Energy Company. Excited to bring you state quarterfinal and semifinal action right here. And we've had a great quarterfinal here in 3A in the 6-3 matchup. The 6-seeded Estherville Lincoln Central Midgets on top of the Albia Lady D's. 1-0. Albia, their final at-bat of this game, unless they can muster at least one. And it has to start with Avery Halstead here, the first baseman.
Yeah, for both these pitchers coming in, I kept circling the most strikeouts in a tournament because if either of these teams run to the state championship game, both these pitchers very capable of, trying to get to Amanda's numbers. I don't know if either of them will. 8 strikeouts for Yeager here today, has a chance for, at max, 11 on the day, which would still be a little bit off of Pfizer's pace, but
Pence had 12, and she won't have a chance at more unless her team can give her some run support. Of course, we'll see Grace Pence. She waits on deck. Watching on right now as Halstead sits with a 2-0 count. That'll drift inside for ball 3. Avery Halstead likely taking here the lone senior on this Albia team. Takes strike 1.
Pfizer's number, by the way, 46. She had 46 strikeouts in the 2020 or 2016 tournament in Class 3A. We're talking about, of course, with these teams being in Class 3A.
That ball shot right back up the middle by Halstead, the leadoff single as Albia's tying run on base. Nice piece of hitting there from Halstead. Knew that Yeager would come in to the zone a little bit. Now we're going to get a courtesy runner. And that's going to be Maddie Montgomery. Again, all substitutions brought to you by IMT Insurance.
Yeah, we'll be a pinch runner.
Maddie Montgomery, an 8th grader there.
Yep.
And that brings Grace Pence to the dish. No outs to speak of right now for Yeager. Shows bunt, fouled off, fielded nicely by our home plate umpire today in Tom Schreurs.
Now is that an out?
See what you did there. It's an 0-1 count. Showing bunt. Fans at it. Fakes the throw down, does Rushy. Gets Montgomery to dive back.
Yeah, now 0-2. Going to have to change our approach here at the plate. Just need a ball in play. Try to move that runner.
(0-2) to Pence. Change up comes in, bobbled by Yeager, but does move the batter over or runner over, which is what Pence was trying to do in the first place.
Just needed a ball in play. That's the biggest thing for Albia. You know, we'd love a hit there to put 2 runners on with nobody out, of course, but need a ball in play. We just got to make contact. We'll have a pinch hitter, I believe, coming in for Albia.
Brooke Rubel, the freshman, batting .417 this season, has 12 at-bats, 5 hits. 3 of those have been singles, 2 doubles, and she's got 2 RBIs.
What a moment to come in off the bench.
Just a freshman, too.
Yeah. You got an 8th grader who's running the bases, and obviously, you know, you got to make sure you don't leave early. It would be a bad time for that. Now you got a freshman at the plate. This is a young Albia team hoping to have more time here at State to get more experience and hoping to be here in the future as well.
Substitutions brought to you by IMT Insurance, and Rubel does watch at ball 1.
Deep breath. Love to see that from a young player, just trying to soak in the moment.
She's only played in 6 games this whole season. Has a 1-0 count with 1 out, runner at second. She hammers it, sneaks under the glove at short. Montgomery's going to go to third. She's rounding third, heading for home. Rushy cannot get it in time. Montgomery slides in, and we're not in it. 1 apiece.
What a moment for the freshman. What a moment from the 8th grader. A great slide coming home as well, getting around just in case there is that tag at home plate. Wanted to make sure you slide around it. But what a moment for the freshman. A moment that she'll remember for a long time, and especially if Albia is able to bring her home now. They're a base hit away from winning this game.
That ball was bobbled out in the outfield, too, and that's what allowed Montgomery to get the wave around. And now the go-ahead and walk-off run sits at second with Zoe Zanoni up to bat. She had a double back in the third. She'll take a quick breath. And now Albia has struck late.
Yeah, now if you're Yeager, you need your best pitches of the game right here. 8 strikeouts today. A strikeout here is what you got to have.
Zanoni takes a good cut at it, fouls it back.
Get ahead in the count. You know, that's what Yeager's trying to do. Now she's ahead. Now she can do what she wants. You know, she can throw one of those off-speed pitches, try to get it to 0-2. Doesn't have to come to the strike zone with a fastball.
0-1 count. Yeager looks on, delivers. That'll stay down and away.
That's what she was trying to do with it there, was trying to hit the outside corner, but also a pitch that she thought maybe could get a swing and miss.
So we sit 1-1. Zanoni, ground ball shoots through the left side, coming all the way home to score is Rubel, and Albia walks it off. That should be ball game, and that is. Albia wins it 2-1. The delayed reaction, and Zanoni the hero.
Yeah, I think a little bit of a delayed reaction there because they were possibly the players coming out onto the field before the run had crossed home, but looked back at the umpires and said, nope, you're good. And then he gave the green light to the players to go celebrate with the rest of their team. What a great game, and Albia, that's why you keep going, because for Albia, it's, you know, you're down the entire game. It's not looking good for you, and we mentioned it before, 1 or 2 things are going to happen in this game to allow one team to win, and we see it right there.
Grace Pence, 12 strikeouts today, only gave up the 1 blemish. That was to Hillary Rushy, who hit the bomb back in the 4th inning. From there, she was able to fend off Estherville Lincoln Central, and Albia hung on to the last moment to make this a win in their book. What a game it was. 2 runs score late. It was Maddie Montgomery coming around on the Brooke Rubel hit, and then Rubel comes in to score on the Zanoni hit, and that is all she wrote. 2-1 your final. 6 hits for Estherville Lincoln Central, 2 errors. For the Albia Lady D's, 5 hits, 2 errors, 2 runs, in a 2-1 victory. They'll move on to the semifinals on Wednesday. Well, that'll be a wrap here on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy Company. Once again, you've been watching the Iowa Girls State Softball Tournament presented by Iowa Farm Bureau. We'll catch you for the next quarterfinal action here in Class 2A.